All right, we're recording.
Yes, sir.
Welcome everyone to the Rink Rat Report podcast recording. This one, July 25th. Not that anything's really going to happen between when this is being recorded and when we're putting and when it's actually live and when you're listening to it. As always, joined by Jason today.
How's it going, guys? Really excited for today's show. Got it's one of the more fun ones. We sat down, kind of planned out the rest of the off season here, so you have some like pretty fun
There,
ideas moving
there's no
forward. So
news.
yeah, no news.
There's
So we have to
pretty
come up
much.
with
Well,
news. And
actually, there is one piece of news that we are going to
oh
talk about.
yes. That's pretty. That's actually Leafs somewhat Leafs not Leafs related, but Leafs adjacent. Fair to say.
Well, yeah, didn't he score the OT winner in 2013?
Yes, he scored a lot of goals against us.
So he's
Definitely
finally
Leafs.
gone. We're
Yes.
going to talk about a little bit about Bergeron, a little bit about what would Team North America under 23 look like if they were playing this September in a World Cup of Hockey type tournament, similar to the 16-17 team. You remember it had Matthews, it had Eichel, it had McDavid, it had Johnny Gaudreau, it had everyone. It had Matt Murray on it, Morgan Riley, and
Morgan Riley's on that
who
team.
else?
Wow. He must have been
Morgan
23 at
Riley
the
was
time,
on
right?
that team 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was 2011 draft. So Sean Couturier was the oldest guy on the team. He was a
Wow.
1992 born,
Okay.
but he has a late birthday. So that's where you're going to see a couple guys where it's like, oh, they're 99 born. They're not 23, but late birthday, haven't quite turned 23 yet, so they count.
Makes sense.
And
Makes
then we're
sense.
going to talk a little bit about the Rinky Awards. So
I love it.
let's get into it. Patrice Bergeron finally announced he is done with tormenting the Toronto Maple Leafs and he is done with professional hockey. He is retiring.
Yes, it's
Finally.
obvious. Listen, like obviously we're excited because we're Leafs fans, but like it is sad to see him go because he is and still is and still probably could be one of the like top 15 players maybe in the NHL right now. Like he's still that good. He still has the stuff, right? Like top 15, top 20 maybe. Listen, he's a top 10 center without a doubt. So, depends how much you value the center position. But I don't know. I always loved watching him play. He has I think one of the more under. I know it's crazy to say because he's going to get a lot of love over the coming weeks and very much deservingly so. But he is legitimately one of the most underrated players, and I think he is the most underrated player of the last 20 years because his career trajectory. I think it's maybe underappreciated because he kind of only got love once the analytics community kind of came in. He has been the best two-way forward in the NHL since what 2010. Like I don't think that's a
one of the
stretch
best
to say.
defensive. Yeah, one of the best defensive centers
All
for
time.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, and his value was never really fully quantified until I guess those guys kind of came in and gave him more respect. Not saying that people didn't know that he was good defensively, but like how good he was defensively, right? And like the awards speak for itself. Like a ton of like was it 6 Selkies nominated for like 10 or something like that. I think what he has Stanley Cup. Did he win?
Only one Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
That was kind of crazy.
It's very bananas. I mean, like missed opportunity there for like having legit one of the best centers to play in the last 20 years. But
he lost in 3 Stanley Cup finals, did he not?
I can only remember 2, maybe 3 though. I'm not.
Oh, 2010, 2012, 2013,
St.
and then
Louis.
2018, 2019.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So 2. Okay. 1 for 2.
But
Not bad.
maybe earlier because he was I don't know. Anyways, but
No, they never.
listen, he's a good player. But as Leafs fans, how can you not be happy to see him gone? Like you look at the Boston Bruins with and without him, it's a stark difference. Like
yeah.
Pavel Zacha is their 1C filling in now because also Krejci's probably gone too. Like very, very big oofs. And a small thing I just wanted to touch on is I see a lot of people saying like, oh, eyes on Lindholm for Boston, eyes on Scheifele for Boston. But like Boston doesn't have anything to give up. Their prospect pool is literally the worst in the NHL. They have, I believe, their next 2 picks, first round picks, locked up in trades already. So unless the team wants to take a 2026 pick for like a what is arguably like a number 1 center or close to like a number 1 center, I don't think Calgary or Winnipeg would do that. And we also mentioned like we mentioned Swayman might be in a deal, but neither of those teams need Swayman. So
yeah,
I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they're gonna roll with Zacha, but like, man, I'm fading the Boston Bruins hard this year. I'm fading them hard this year. So
Yeah, I think they'll be competitive. Someone brought it up that maybe they'll like just tread water this year. They got some good defense. They got their
Yeah,
goalies are solid as well. Tread water this year, and then you got 20 mil or so in cap space the next year, and then just try to keep the dream alive with some free agents. I'm not sure who exactly, but that will be to be seen, I guess. So
yeah,
yeah, it's no Krejci, no Bergeron this year is gonna yikes.
it's hard.
The
It's not
Bruins
easy.
team that lost to the Panthers in the playoffs versus what the Bruins team now is such a stark difference. Like when you look at it, they lost Orlov, they lost Hathaway, they lost Bergeron now. They're probably going to lose David Krejci.
They
They
lost
lost
Bertuzzi.
Tyler Bertuzzi. They lost Taylor Hall. They
Yeah.
lost
Oh
Nick
my goodness.
Foligno, who I don't know what he's doing in there, but they lost Nick Foligno. He was a guy, he was a fourth liner. So that's a lot. That's it's crazy. I know a lot of teams obviously will get worse after they go all in at the trade deadline, but like to get that much worse is crazy. So going to be a lot of hopefully going to be a lot of 2-1 games if you're a Boston fan, but if you're a Leafs fan, you hope that they don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be
I
so
mean,
nice.
it'd be nice to see, especially considering they don't have their first round pick this year. So
Ooh.
it's top 10 protected though, so maybe they do. Well, it'll be
Ah,
TBD to see,
hopefully they
right?
finish
But
11th then.
I know it's, but hey, like maybe they finish 10th and then bottom out again next year, and then they'll have to give up an unprotected first. Who knows how far this hole can go? Because listen, obviously, strong defense can take you far, but it can only take you so far, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, losing Orlov is massive to like a massive hole for that back end. Now, I'm not saying that it's like that it's bad. They still have Lindholm. They still have McAvoy, who are two
McAvoy,
very
Hazlitt,
much two number
Carlo.
ones. Yeah, but I just worry about those middling guys. I don't know if they can carry the load as much as those forwards did, right, for them. So
Yeah.
it'll be, it's going to be something fun to watch.
Yeah.
Not financial advice. I am like literally emptying all my bank accounts, all my betting accounts, my DraftKings account on right now. The only thing I see available is Bruins not to make the playoffs. That's plus, I want to say plus 220 is what I saw last time. I am hammering that. So don't listen to me. Don't tell me, but that's what I'm doing. Anyways,
All
we can
right.
move on from here.
We'll see. So that was Bergeron retiring.
Yeah.
We're going to move on. But before we do, we want to give a shout out to our friends at Manscaped. I've gone through this ad so many times. I've gotten some good feedback about my ability to talk about male genitalia, we'll call it, and how well Manscaped keeps you nice and groomed down there, we'll call it. As you already know, promo code RINKRAT, that is RINKRAT at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. They've got so much good stuff there. I don't even need to read this ad that they've got in front of me. I think it doesn't do justice. They've got the deodorants, they've got the soaps, they've got the shampoos, they've got the lawnmower 4.0. Like, guys, give it a look. Manscaped.com. Promo code RINKRAT, RINKRAT.
Yeah. Just quickly before we finish up that ad here, I just want to say the crop preserver. I've re-upped that twice now. It's very, very good for the summer. Thanks to Manscaped, by the way, they sent us it. But yeah, it's very, very good for the summer. Like listen, it's sweaty season. You want to keep the boys nice and clean and smell nice downstairs. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's the best way
The ear
to
trimmer
keep.
for me is so good. I
I don't know
love
if
it.
people want to hear about that, but I don't know.
Ear
It's
trimmer?
yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
Take a look at, like, put your ear to the mirror and take a look in it. Like, sometimes those things at the, like, as you get older, they grow fast.
I guess
Anyways,
that's a good point.
promo code RINKRAT, manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping. We gave them a
Always fun
lot
to do
more
those.
than their money's worth. We gave them their money's worth on that one. Anyways, let's get into it. Team North America. What a team that was to watch back in 16, 17. A lot of people were like, it's a gimmick. Who cares? This is such a joke tournament. And then that was like the greatest team ever. Like,
It was
not the
electric.
greatest team ever. It was a lot of fun to watch. A
Yeah, like I
lot of
remember
fun to watch.
the Austin Matthews. I don't. He didn't score, but it was like the assist where he like picked up the puck, dangled a couple guys, almost lost the puck, but then like
Nice.
did a little
He
dipsy
scored.
doodle. Did he score that one?
You
I
know
can't
who the
remember if it was
primary
a goal.
assist was on that one?
Kachuk, no?
The
No, am I
primary
wrong?
Kachuk. Kachuk didn't play
Yeah,
in this.
Matthew.
No, he
Was he
didn't
not
play in this
playing?
one.
Oh,
No,
oh.
it was Morgan Riley. You're
Was
thinking
it
of the Sweden
actually?
goal, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. My
Connor
memories.
McDavid cut through the neutral
Oh, it
zone. He
was
went through
McDavid.
2 guys, and then
Yeah,
he didn't score on the breakaway. Matthews got the puck from his knees, dangled someone, passed it over to Morgan Riley. Morgan Riley shot on net. Matthews rebound goal.
I love
So
that. I
funny.
inject that into my veins.
Yeah. It was funny because when they were picking the roster, they were unveiling the rosters, and Nick Kiprios went on a rant. He was like, "This is a marketing stunt putting Matthews there. He hasn't played a game in the NHL. You cut Max Domi for him. What a joke." He went on a big rant where it's like, okay, like Domi did have 56 points the year before, but Matthews went into that tournament and dominated. So funny actually to look back at that one. I think I made a little video kind of making fun of him. I got to stop with making fun of him though, even though it's fun sometimes. Anywho, Bo Bichette home run at
Let's
10:49
go.
p.m.
We
Love
love it.
that.
We love that.
All right, so you ready to unveil the roster?
Yeah. So, I mean, let's start with the
We'll
more.
start with before we started recording. You were giving me your starting lineups, and
Yes.
you mentioned the wrong Hughes, and you tried to like double down. You're like, yeah, Luke Hughes. Luke Hughes is in the starting lineup. I'm like, are you sure you have the right Hughes there? It turns out you were talking about Quentin. So
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Little
okay,
brain fart on me. I wrote down Hughes and I was like, is it Luke Hughes or is it Quinn Hughes? Because like it's Quinn Hughes. I feel like Quinn Hughes wasn't old enough when I did the reach. Anyways, so yeah, we gave away the defense. I actually want to start with the goalies though before we gave
well,
away
the
one
goalies is
defenseman.
so easy, but
The goalies
yes,
are yeah, that's why I kind of want to get them out of the way. So we
all
have
right,
3 goalies for us, right?
yeah.
Let's hear
Can
them.
you guess who they are?
My goodness, no, I
I'll
cannot.
give you like 10 seconds. Okay.
On the spot,
Number
no.
one is Spencer Knight. I
Spencer
like the
Knight. Okay.
experience. I think he's a great goaltender. He had to join the players assistance program last year. He's off the program. He's back with the team. Um, Hopefully he has a nice little rebound season because I think he's a heck of a goaltender. He's my starting goaltender there. My backup is going to be Devin Levi. He
Okay.
was Canada's World Junior goaltender. You probably have heard me say this a million times, but I thought what a ripoff of a trade that was for the Sam Reinhart from Sam Reinhart going to Florida and Florida only sending a first round pick in Devin Levi because Devin Levi had only played seven games in the past like year, whatever, and then Devin Levi proceeded to take my opinion and shove it up my hoop. Um, I think I like from what I've watched from him, he's a terrific goaltender. Not much NHL experience, but like when you see the list behind him, like I think he's got like the second most games played for a North American U23 goaltender. So and number one is Spencer Knight. So there's not a whole lot of NHL experience here. That's why my third pick is really easy. It's Dustin Wolf.
Okay.
This guy's
Yeah.
skating is incredible. He's
Okay. Yeah.
been very good in the AHL. But that's really all you got. Like after that, it's like Jet Greaves, who played one game against the Leafs. Uh, and that's about it. Like I literally don't have anyone else. I think those are it could be a solid. Like, those are all 3 guys that are like one guy plays in the NHL, he gets paid a good amount of money. The other 2 are kind of pushing for NHL jobs and like giving their fan bases a lot of excitement. Have shown some good play in college and in the AHL, but obviously it doesn't compare to the 2016 North America team where they had Matt Murray, they had John Gibson, and I believe the third goaltender was Connor Hellebuck.
Wow.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. I mean, how do you think these goalies would stack up against like the all world under 23 goalies? Like, I don't know who would be on the all world. Like maybe would a guy like Wallstead and like honestly, just because they're in a recent draft and they're on the top of my head, Wallstead and Kosa, like would those guys be on it? Am I thinking too Galaxy brain
Um,
or
well, Sebastian Kosa, he's of age, but he played in the ECHL last year.
okay? So
So
that probably ain't it.
probably,
Would
and
a
also he's Canadian. So
Okay. What about a guy like Askarov, who has managed to get an NHL game under his belt, but in 2023 didn't look too good in the AHL? Probably gonna have to go a little bit older for these goalies,
Yeah,
but
he had a bit of a tough year adjusting to, you know, the size of the ice and such in North American hockey. So
fair enough.
I think I would still probably, eh, like, I'm excited to see what he can do next year. However, I would, as of right now, I would probably take the North American goaltenders over him.
Okay.
Yeah, like Wallstad's a solid goaltender. Still think it would be close.
They're still, those two guys are still young, right? Like I don't think there were any like big goalies for, like, let's call them Team World in like the 18-19 draft that I can come up off the top of my head, but there was like in that 2020 and 2021 draft, there was like Wolstad, Kosa, and uh, uh, Pesca. Was that who it was? Pexa? Am I thinking of the right
Hexa. That's the Leaf 6th-round
release
pick.
guy? Oh my goodness, these, you know, the Russian guy I'm talking about. Russian goalie drafted in the first round. I think he was drafted to the Predators. But anyways, I'll look that Askarov. Yeah, sorry, his name's still my mind.
The
So
guy you just mentioned.
yeah, but like, listen, it's late. I'm exhausted, so names don't retain that easy. So, but yeah, so like, so you they're still young, right? Like 19, 20, 21, I think, right?
Yeah.
But also those guys that we mentioned for Team North
Yeah.
America are also young. So, anyways, moving off there, let's go straight to defenseman, right? Buried the lead here. We obviously had Quinn Hughes as one. Another one I think that is like kind of like a big impact guy that was like a little obvious that I liked and I had on my team was Owen Power. I liked his game in 2022.
He was lower on my lineup, but yeah.
Fair enough. That's fair. And then one guy I love on your lineup is Jake Sanderson and Evan Bouchard. Those two guys are fantastic. So why don't you tell us a little bit? I'll let you fill out the rest of the roster though, after those guys.
So when you go to Elite Prospects and you filter for U23, it doesn't take the late birthday 2018 draft guys who are technically available. I mean, Sean Couturier played on the Team North America team, even though he was a 92 born, still wasn't 23 yet, so he was allowed to play. So that's where I was like, when looking at that list without Evan Bouchard and without Quinn Hughes, I was like, who is going to play the right side of the ice? I had Braden Schneider and Cam York there. I'm like, because those were literally the only guys that played the right side of the ice. But thankfully, then your brother Josh pointed out to me, no, Quinn Hughes, Evan Bouchard. So I was like, okay, that fills it out nicely. So in terms of my lineup, thank God I closed it before I was about to say everything. In terms of my D lineup, I have JT Miller. Andre
it's
Miller.
It's late.
Oh yeah, it's late. I have Andre Miller and I have Noah Dobson as my top pairing. I mean, Noah Dobson, I believe, like, has probably the most amount of points for a defenseman for this age group, for North America. Obviously, actually, no.
Bouchard.
It's Quinn Hughes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Quinn Hughes. Wouldn't it be Hughes then Bouchard then? Anyways,
they're in there. I don't know. Dobson is a phenomenal defenseman, though. So I had Andre Miller. I had Noah Dobson, and then I had Bowen Byram on my second line.
I like that.
I know the injuries have been piling up for him, but just what he did in that cup run was fantastic. And when he's healthy, I think he's just such a good defenseman. And then his partner, I put Evan Bouchard there. Again, the Bouch bomb on the power play for the Oilers has been phenomenal. I mean, the amount of playoff points that this guy racked up was a sick joke. I still find funny that people were like, "Oh, the loss of Tyson Barrie at the deadline, that's going to be tough on the power play." And then Evan Bouchard walked in and just was better than Tyson Barrie.
It's crazy.
About the same, if not
who
better.
would have thought?
So,
like,
who would have thought?
Yeah, he's really good.
Kind of like they have Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid on that team.
Yeah, so it almost doesn't matter. But no, like not to take away from Bouchard though, because he is very good, and I think he does. Good. Yeah, you like, I don't know, as like a high offense, like high octane defenseman. I think he's a perfect fit for those guys on the power play. And like, listen, he can hold his own too as well. Like at 5-on-5. He's not amazing in his own zone, but he's still like decent. Biggest
Yeah.
like I know I touched on it earlier, but like man, when I went to watch the Ottawa game last year when Ottawa came to Toronto, and Jake Sanderson, that guy blew me out of the water. He is like I don't like Ottawa. I think it's very evident if you listen to this, but he blew me out of the water with how good he is. He's a really good defenseman. I could see him like he has like the potential to be like a 2 and like upside of maybe one day being a 1. I don't know if he'll get there, but like I could see him being like a solid everyday like 2 in the NHL. So
well this year.
he looked really good. Like my goodness. So I love those picks. I love those guys. Those are
in my third pairing, I have either Sanderson or Owen Power, and then Quinn Hughes. Obviously, Quinn Hughes for sure in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, my 6-7 is going to be like Sanderson, Owen Power. Some honorable mentions that I had in here that I had to kind of cut. I mentioned Cam York. Seems like Flyers fans like him. Thomas Harley got a lot of minutes in the playoffs, but he was on the outside looking in. Kalen Addison had a decent year with the Minnesota Wild. I believe it was his rookie year, but put up a good amount of points there. And then I was thinking maybe Matthias Samuelson for some defensive ad, but he didn't quite make the cut. But I think this is a solid decor. No?
Yeah, I think this is really fun. And like, man, just like thinking about this decor playing, like, would it ever be electric if they brought this back? Because this would be like a fun decor to watch. And I know if like let's say they were to bring it back next year, we would lose out on Hughes and Bouchard. But I think the next step that the rest of these guys would probably take would be like really entertaining. I think we would lose Keandre Miller too, right? Though, shoot. But or does it? Would he have one more year? And
well, if they did it not this coming September, if they did it the next,
yeah.
Which they said they're not going to, so whatever. But
sorry, we just do another one of these next
year. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I believe you would lose all of your 2018 draft guys, which is like Keandre Miller, Jack Hughes, Evan Bouchard, Quinn Hughes. You would lose Spencer Knight in there as well. So yeah, and to compare this to the 2016 roster, they had Aaron Ekblad, Shane Gostisbehere, Seth Jones, Ryan Murray, Colton Parayko, Morgan Riley, and Jacob Trouba.
Wow.
Not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. It's like it kind of just goes to show that like where these players could eventually be one day, right? A lot of those guys you talked about ended up being ones and twos. So yeah, very, very, very fun exercise here. So before we get into the forwards, guys, I want to quickly talk to you about our sponsor over at Raycon. Even if you're not going on vacation, summer is all about having a vacation state of mind. Whether I want to listen to City and Color and Ryan O'Reilly on repeat, or I just need to retreat inside my own head for a bit, I love creating my own summer soundtrack by popping in my Raycon wireless earbuds. There's so much going on all summer. Sometimes you need some upbeat music to pump you up before you see people, or to stay calm with some guided meditation. I personally love listening to funk music at the gym to help me get my PRs up and lift heavy weights. And let me tell you right now, Raycons are the best way to listen. Use earbud tap functions to toggle between 3 customizable sound profiles, noise isolation, and awareness mode. Raycons have a 32-hour battery life, including 8 hours of playtime, so you can listen to what you want, when you want, for a really long time. They come with custom gel tips for the most comfortable in-ear fit. They start at half the price of other premium audio brands, but they sound just as good. And Raycon comes with a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose here. Create your own soundtrack with Raycon right now. Rink Rat Report podcast listeners can get 15% off of their Raycon order at buyraycon.com/THPN. That's buyraycon.com/THPN to save 15% on Raycons. Buyraycon.com/THPN. Now back to the show. Moving off of the defenseman, let's go right into the forwards. And you kind of mentioned one of the forwards in Jack Hughes. I'll let you run through. Look, how I want you to do this though is roll through the first, because the center depth on this team is absurd, like so absurd. Like the guy you have on the fourth line, I'm like, how is this guy like on the fourth line? And I look above, I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? So like let's run through the centers first.
I have too many good centers. Like just to run through, like just name drop all of them out of order, whether they're on the team or not. There's Jack Hughes, there's Connor Bedard, there's Dylan Cousins, there's Matty Beniers, there's Wyatt Johnson, there's Mason McTavish, Barrett Hayton, Kirby Doc, and then I might be missing one. I
Uh,
think that was it. But
yeah.
yeah, and
So
then Kent Johnson, I guess, is a center. I don't know. But anyways, those were all of the centers that you have to try to somehow fit in there. But I think the first line of
the first line
Matt
is
Boldy,
great.
Jack Hughes, Cole Caulfield, something like that.
That's a great line.
Little
And
USNDTP.
yeah, Matt Boldy had a great year this year. Obviously, Jack Hughes, everyone knows about Jack Hughes, but Matt Boldy underrated good year. Maybe it's because he's in Minnesota. I don't know. They seem to get media attention, but if you looked at Dom's article, he mentioned him as one of the best value contracts in the NHL, and I think his contract is $7 million kicked in this year. So listen, he's making a pretty penny, and he's like definitely worth it too. Like Matt Boldy, like he's gonna be, if you don't already know who he is, like take a look at him because he's gonna be a name you'll be hearing a lot as the years go on. He's really
Yeah,
good. He's really good offensively. So,
31
yeah,
goals this year.
yeah.
He had, I think, 20 of them were at 5-on-5. Uh,
I'm not
but
sure exactly, but yeah, he's a just a
I
good
have it
overall
right in front
player.
of me. Yeah, 20 of them at 5-on-5. When you look at the 5-on-5 play, I mean, he only has 28 5-on-5 points, so not much of a passer really at 5-on-5, but still an exceptional player, and I really think would complement that top line. I had to put Hughes and Caulfield together, just re-spark the USNTDP. I wish their name wasn't so long. The United States Development Program. Um, that connection that they had there, where they put up 3 billion points together. So I had to put those guys back together. So that's why that's my top line there.
Yeah, fair enough. Listen, like I wouldn't put Caulfield on the top line. I think you know why, but hey, you know what? Jack Hughes and Matt Boldy, they can carry a guy like Cole Caulfield.
Yeah, he shouldn't be on the team until he's over 5'7". Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, so then my second line that I had here that I was pretty confident in putting these ones together. I said left wing Trevor Zegras, center Connor Bedard, and on my right wing I have Brady Kachuk. So a little bit of
I,
grind, a little bit of finesse, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
a line
You
that
know,
could probably keep like if obviously this tournament isn't happening, but if this tournament were to happen again, that's a line that could probably keep up with some of the older guys, right? Where
oh
with
yeah,
Tkachuk in the forecheck, and like man, I just am excited to watch Bedard play. Like
oh
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be electric. I'm not gonna be like oh Bedard, you put him on the team for publicity. Like no, listen. I'm pretty sure his line at DraftKings right now to score it's like point total is like 65.5 right now. So obviously, like, listen, they're not just putting that out for fun. That they think he will have a good season. Listen, he's playing with Taylor Hall,
wow.
so I could see how
Playing with
maybe
Nick
that.
Foligno and Corey Perry.
I don't know if that's the reason why, but yeah, no, like the Taylor Hall thing is definitely a big factor, and he's gonna get the top minutes, top power play time, everything. So listen, he's gonna be a force. So it's yeah, that line
Agreed.
could be fun.
Agreed. We saw what he could do. What a nut so he is. So yeah, that's my top six. After that, it kind of gets murky in terms of who who's on this team. Like I for sure do have Dylan Cousins as my third line center.
Yeah,
I like that one. Like I'm gonna put him as my third line center. I think as a winger, I currently have him as a fourth line center, but I'm gonna move him to the wing there, and that's Matty Beniers with Dylan Cousins.
I like that.
So Cousins, Beniers, and then we have a lot to pick from. Like maybe I think Seth Jarvis definitely deserves to be on this team. So I'm
Yes.
going
I
to
think
put Seth Jarvis, Dylan Cousins, Matty Beniers as my third line. Right? Any kind of what's the word?
opposition to that. No, if that's what
Yes,
you're
there
looking.
we are.
No,
Oh
no,
my
no,
god.
absolutely not. Like of the list that you've listed a couple guys here, and we'll touch on them in a bit. For me to kind of pick from, but like of the guys listed here, like I think Cousins, Beniers, and Jarvis are the three names that like stick out to me the most. So it
Mhm.
makes sense why you put them on. I feel like even I don't even think you should have lumped Jarvis into these guys. I think Jarvis deserved to be on the team, like penciled in already, right? Like
Mhm.
I don't know if you've. I guess
He
you kind of feel
was
the
on
same
the
way.
lower end in terms of points totals this year. He had a
Yeah,
bit of a slow year, but
yeah,
just looking at his previous history, like he's been pretty good throughout his career. I think he's a great player. I'm very excited to see what he can do next year.
yeah,
So yeah, I definitely think that Seth Jarvis should be on this team, but
yeah.
some fierce competition, right?
Yeah, very very much so. Like very good competition. Like let's. So we have the third line locked in. Another
Yeah.
guy you wanted to put in was Kent Johnson, right? So
After
are
further review, I don't
you're
know if I
hesitant
have the
about it.
right Johnson.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't.
Why? Okay. So here's a couple other names that we're kicking around here and trying to decide on for the last 4 spots, I guess, because we're going to carry an extra forward here. It'd be Kent Johnson, Wyatt Johnson, Mason McTavish, Lafreniere, Farabee, Hayton, Doc, Perfetti, and Byfield. So with
Yeah,
the
I don't
Johnsons,
think Lafreniere is going to be on this team.
I agree. I don't think
Yeah.
he's done enough. Unfortunately, obviously a former first round pick, so that sucks to see. But yeah, I just don't. I just like listen. I'm picking off like I'd rather have. I can find 3 or 4 names without mentioning them,
Oh, did
so
we
we can create
mention
some
Dawson
suspense.
Mercer?
No, we didn't.
Oh my
Dawson Mercer
god,
probably should be in there as well.
Dawson
We probably
Mercer.
listen. We
Dawson
definitely for
Mercer's my fourth line center.
okay. I
I
cannot wait to
forgot
see the
to write him
comments.
down. I have no idea why I didn't write Dawson Mercer down, but Dawson Mercer is definitely my fourth line center.
That's okay because that's a fantastic pull. I'm happy you pulled them because we would be roasted right now in the comments. But we're gonna get roasted anyways because we're probably gonna forget people. It's not an easy exercise to do. It's not easy to like research this stuff. So like you're gonna have fans from teams like saying, "Hey, why isn't my guy here?" Blah blah blah. But yeah,
Yeah, this exercise is just further proof to hockey fans. Like 90% of hockey fans only watch their team. Like,
how about this one? Wait, what about Matthew Nyes?
oh,
With
that
how he
was
played in the playoffs,
so.
you could make a
Pretty
case.
much all night, I
And
was thinking, I was like, I want to tweet something of the sort like, "Hey, might put together a U23 North America roster and put Matthew Nyes on it for clicks." We'll see. I don't think
but like
he's on this list, but it would
you
be
don't think
very
he's there
very
yet
funny.
with
It would be funny
with
if a
his.
Leafs podcast put together a U23 North America and put Matthew Nyes on here.
Listen, I'm vetoing what you're saying right now. I'm putting him on the team. I'm putting him on the team.
Over who?
We're gonna swap him with Caulfield and put Caulfield on the 4th line. We want these clicks, so that's what we're gonna do. No, like listen, if you think about how a North American U23 team would be built, here's me making the case for Matthew
If
Nyes
it was
here.
in Toronto, then sure, yeah, he would be on the team.
But the one thing this team is lacking, though, for to be fair, on the front end, is size. The guy who really sticks out to you is Tkachuk, who's like has that size, right? So you kind of almost you'd think that a line of
Boldy.
Tkachuk, yeah, Boldy has size too, but you think of maybe a line of Tkachuk and Nyes together would actually be like a very complementary line that could fight on the forecheck, compete with these big guys. We've seen Matthew Nyes is able to compete with these bigger physical guys. He was competing with Mark Stahl, who, listen, he's not good, but he's strong. He's big and strong, right? Racco Kudus, big and strong. He was able to hold his own against those guys. So Victor Hedman, right? Like these guys are big, strong NHL players. This U23 team is going to be playing against big, strong NHL players. You're going to need some guys who can handle that. So that give me Matthew Nyes. Did I convince you or no?
Sorry, no.
Okay, fine. He's our extra forward.
I just wouldn't be able to like stomach the comments. Like I know it would get a ton of clicks if we did it and we put out a graph. It'd be so funny though. I would love to see people's reactions.
I think it'd be
If
hilarious.
You want us to put that out there?
Yeah,
so
maybe we'll do 2.
Yeah,
we'll do one with Nyes. Okay, I tried. Listen, if I convinced you, if I
and then we
justify
it, all the replies are just playoff points per game.
Let's go. He's got.
He had 4 playoff points. How many did
he's a playoff.
Mason McTavish have?
Exactly. Playoff pedigree is important. Playoff pedigree is incredibly important. So, anyways, let's fill out the rest of this roster. So we have Mercer locked in there. Did you want to have one of the
Wyatt Johnson? I locked in
Mercer and Wyatt Johnson. Okay, so of the rest, honestly, I would put Perfetti in there. Maybe Doc. Maybe actually not Doc. I think Perfetti. I think Perfetti.
Farabee.
Farabee. Yeah, that's the other guy I was looking
like
at.
Perfetti. You mentioned size. I mean, you have Mason McTavish sitting right there.
Yeah, but
Barrett
give me Matthew Nyes over
Hayton.
those guys.
Do you go Barrett Hayton? He was unreal the second half of the year. So I was going to do 13 forwards. 13 forwards,
Yeah.
7D.
Yeah.
You kind of need that in a tournament.
So let's, I think, so we're looking at 2 forwards right now, right? This is so tough. Like, we're looking at 2 forwards, and I think we kind of whittled it down to Hayton, Perfetti. You mentioned McTavish. And am I missing someone? It was just those 3.
I think so. I'm going to go.
I want Perfetti on the team. I like the way Perfetti plays. I like the high skill that he has and like his high offensive upside.
I'm going to go Hayton center, Mercer to the wing. And then, well, there's Wyatt Johnson. Or sorry, there's not Wyatt Johnson. Ken Johnson as well. I'm very high on him. Like the issue that I'm having with Kent Johnson right now is, yeah, he was on the lower end when you look at it for 5-on-5 points. When you like total 5-on-5 points, he was out of the U23 North America players, he was 19th, I think, and this doesn't include Quinn Hughes, Evan Bouchard. There's probably one guy that I'm missing that was in the 2018 draft. I might be missing a 2018 late birthday draft guy, but I don't care at this point.
Listen,
we're becoming too tough.
Exactly. So let's finalize this. Let's lock this in. Who do you want as the last 2 pieces here? So you said Hayton. Oh wait, yeah, we completely forgot about Farabee, man. Like what? What the heck? This is so tough. Like
I forgot. I mean, he's
not forgot, but like, yeah, like
he was. When you look at it, he was 6th. 35 5-on-5 points is 6th amongst this group. That's not bad. That's more than Johnson, more than Jack Quinn. Even though he's injured right now, unfortunately, but Jack Quinn had a pretty decent year too. Something to consider. But he's injured, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that makes our decision easier. If you're injured, you can't play. So, okay. All right. Listen, I'm gonna axe Farabee. I like Perfetti. Let's keep Perfetti as our 13th forward. Let's go Johnson, Mercer, and Hayton. Are you good with that?
Wyatt Johnson.
Yeah, Wyatt Johnson. Sorry, I got
Mercer. I have to take one last look at the notes. This is incredible radio I'm doing right now.
It's fine. Listen, it's tough. And I feel like, listen, for me, you wrote down Byfield and Doc. I don't think they're ready yet. Maybe those guys might be like, listen, I'm not going to say they're bad players. This is not me saying, but like we're talking about right now. There's a couple other guys on this list who I prefer over them. Lafreniere kind of goes in that boat as well.
I'm going to go, instead of over Perfetti, I would think you mentioned the size with your ever so clever Matthew Nyes rant. I think we need Mason McTavish.
If you want to put in Mason McTavish, I'll allow you to put in.
I think we need Ogie. I think we need Ogie Oglethorpe in there
for the good camaraderie. I like that. Okay, fine. Exactly. We'll so Mason McTavish is our 13th forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. I like that. So to round it all out,
so we got
you got it.
Jack Hughes, Cole Caulfield, Trevor Zegras, Connor Bedard, Matthew Tkachuk, or Brady Tkachuk, sorry, Seth Jarvis, Dylan Cousins, Matty Beniers, Wyatt Johnson, Barrett Hayton, Dawson Mercer, Mason McTavish. On defense, we have K-Andre Miller, Noah Dobson, Bowen Byram, Evan Bouchard, Jake Sanderson, Quinn Hughes, Owen Power. In net, we have Spencer Knight, Dustin Wolf, and Devin Levi.
Love it. That's a great team. Let us know what you think about the team in the comments. Tweet at us what you think. So, yeah. And I mean, listen, with Bedard on the team, it's going to be fun. This rookie class is good. It's going to be a lot of fun. I was looking at odds on DraftKings, and I believe the odds were to win the Calder. It was -110 for Bedard, and the field was at -115. So they are actually giving a slight edge to the field. I might be wrong there. I might have the odds wrong. You got to go check it out yourself. And if you're a new customer, you can go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you can use the code THPN. Yes, that's our promo code. And you can bet $5 to score $100 $150 in bonus bets instantly. Use code THPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gambling helpline ma.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NEW YORK or text HOPE New York 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700 on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. In West Virginia, gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. All games regulated by the West Virginia Lottery. Please play responsibly in partnership with Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. 21 plus in most eligible states, but ages vary by jurisdiction. See DraftKings.com/sportsbooks for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire after 7 days, guys. So if after issuance, so make sure if you have these bonus bets, use them. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Max bet 50. 10 plus leg required for 100% boost. Eligibility, wagering, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/baseball terms. Much better than last week. Much better than last. I was practicing a bit, so
you know how tough that is to just like make it such a seamless ad. Now you were trying to, you did a good job at first, and then it gets into the terms and conditions, which you need to read. But that they have it like this. It's like, I don't know. It's like promoting anything that's. Yeah.
Of course. And one thing I want to get into is obviously responsible gambling is important. So make sure you always gamble responsibly. Set aside an amount before you bet, and like be willing to lose all that, because that's what's likely going to happen. It's not easy to beat these sportsbooks unless you have an edge. So just make sure you're doing it responsibly. So with that out of the way, if you're going to bet, you might as well bet at DraftKings using our code at THPN. So
exactly.
Rounding out,
last U23 guy that I forgot to mention, Logan Cooley, I think could push for this team.
Oh my goodness!
I think he's a terrific. he's a terrific hockey player.
Okay, listen. If
tough competition.
If I had the ability to put on a fifth line, it'd be Cooley, Snuggerud, and Nyes.
All right, love that one. 2 of those guys are back in Minnesota. Holy, that's
crazy. It's crazy.
That's gonna be insane.
Anyways, let's close out here.
Yep. We have the Rinky Awards coming up. We wanted to talk a little bit about the categories that we're going to be doing this year. First off, we got some good suggestions in here. We got some good suggestions from some people that suck, and I just clicked into the profile. I said, this is a decent suggestion, but now we're not doing it because you seem kind of weird. So, number 1, obviously, defensive defenseman of the year. I mean, every year the Norse goes to an offensive defenseman. You could say an offensive leaning defenseman at least.
Yeah, for sure. We want to give guys like Jacob Slavin the deserved love that he deserves. I don't know. Anyways, keep going.
Man, he makes every year he gets paired with an offensive defenseman. All the models say this guy defensively sucks. And then they get put with Jacob Slavin, and all of a sudden they're incredible defensively. Like, take a look at Brent Burns' defensive metrics from last year to this year. Like, what, did he do a full 180? I don't know. Or does he just play with Jacob Slavin? Look at Tony DeAngelo even. So, anyways, the next one we got Grit Grinder of the Year, or the Bob Probert Award, which someone named it. I thought that was a great one.
I like that name, and I want to clarify, because we're not just looking for guys like, listen, I love Ryan Reeves. He's a Leafs now. I don't think he'd be a fit for this award. We're looking for a guy who can, we'll have nominees as well. We're looking for a guy who can kind of do it all. We're kind of like a powered forward. It's almost like how I compared it was like the Selke, but instead of defensive play, it's like grit play. So like a guy who can hit, a guy who's willing to fight. Just that's the kind of player that we're looking for that award.
Exactly. I think Bob Probert had 30 at one point. Did he not?
30
goals.
Oh, maybe.
He was the scariest guy around. I know that for sure. But what was his max? 29 goals with the Red Wings. There we are. In his prime there. What a run that was. Anywho, yeah, the Bob Probert Award, we'll call it. We got some funny ones. The Rick Nash Award. A guy that has been talked about as so it can go both ways. We'll call it that it can go both ways.
Okay,
a guy that's been talked about so much as being underrated that he's now overrated, or a guy that's been talked about that he's so overrated that he's now underrated. Both at which Rick Nash had been in his career. I would say when he was at Columbus, all you hear, oh, this guy's so underrated, so underrated, so underrated. And then he got to New York, and then like the underrated kind of wore off, and everyone was like, this guy's wildly overrated. And then it was talked about so much that it's like, okay, well, he's still a very good goal scorer. So like,
Yeah.
is he underrated now? I don't know. So the
So
Rick Nash Award.
let's rename that to the Rick Nash Columbus Award, and that's the underrated but is now overrated. And then the Rick Nash late New York Award, who is overrated but now underrated. Fair enough.
Love it. Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
one.
And
The
then
bottom 6 man of the year, I like that one. That was a great suggestion by you.
yeah, simple enough. Bottom
What are
6
we
player.
capping the minutes at?
I don't know if we can cap minutes. I think we're just gonna have to keep it honest and be like a guy who's played majority of the bottom 6 for the team. You know, like because here's the thing, David Kampf, right? He plays like decent minutes, but he's still a bottom
That's
6
true.
player, right? Maybe we do 5-on-5 minutes. Maybe that's something we look at. Because
Ooh,
like chances are these guys are probably like these bottom
penalty
6 guys
kill,
are going to be
penalty kill,
specially
really.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah. Then next up, we have most improved player of the year. I like that one.
MIP. That they
MIP.
of all the awards, that's the one that they should actually introduce because the NBA does it, and it's a really, really cool award because it's like giving some respects to guys who would normally not get that respects, right? Because if you're a most improved player, you're probably not going to be winning Selkies. You're not going to be winning like Rockets. You're not going to be winning Art Ross. You're not going to be winning Lindsay's. So it kind of gives respect to that like middle class of player and gives them an award. So I like that one.
I have a feeling though it would go to like a goalie that just gets hot at one point, like
That's
Alex
so.
Lyon.
That's so
I think
true.
Alex Lyon would
That's
steal
so
a lot
true.
of votes this year. Like when you think of like the Hamburglar, I feel like that guy would have ran away with it that year.
Yeah.
That's
That
where it
which is
gets tough.
crazy.
But thank God we're doing the awards and not some moron from the Fart Gazette.
And we're not like we're not going to be that guy who leaves Connor McDavid off our MVP ballot.
No, you give him
I think
a fifth.
I think that was an accident.
Luckily.
Yeah, but anyways.
Anyway, yeah.
So
what a joke. A moron. Anyways.
All right. Team awards.
Team awards. Yep. You want to take these ones?
Yeah, so we have one of them. We're not sure if we should do. We're doing the biggest underachieving team. So that's just simply the team that had incredibly lofty expectations for the upcoming year and just completely fell on their face. Pretty simple.
Calgary.
And then, then the next one we have is like the most overrated season. The team that kind of put together a really nice season, but was probably like looking back now, probably a little overrated. Most underrated season, same thing, but in reverse. Maybe the team that had a really good year, but just isn't being talked about for some reason. I can think of a couple teams off the top of my head there. And that kind of caps it for the team awards. We have one media award, top media member of the year. Couple I can think of right now, but don't want to bury the lead. If you want to see all the nominees, we're going to be posting them on Twitter with polls throughout the week. So make sure you go follow us at Rink Rat Report on Twitter, at Rink Rat Report, because I like did a stumble there with my voice. That was weird. And then anyways, we're closing it out with two more awards, two fun awards. One of them is going to be called the Player Impact Program, and that's just the award to a player who helped promote the game of hockey the most within the public, right? We're trying to look for guys who are outgoing and within the public eye. Like hockey's kind of known for not, I don't know, being the most.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
we
right?
stole this award from the PGA.
Yeah, exactly.
The PGA's. It's the same thing that they did. The Player Impact, like literally, we took the same name too. Player Impact Award.
Luckily,
Player
we
Impact
can't
program where it's like just positive. Like, yeah, it's not. We're not giving it to Brendan Lemieux for generating a bunch of clicks for biting Brady Tkachuk last year. Like, not like a positive. I don't know how they determine that, but we'll
and it's not going to be like it's going to be like in a more fun way. I don't want to like a ton of hockey players do a lot within their communities, but I don't know enough about that to even like begin to be qualified to nominate these guys for those things. So we're going to leave it at that. And we're just going to call it. Yeah. Just
like
we're going to use media attention and clicks.
I would have given it to Anthony Beauvillier a few years ago. Remember when he tweeted at,
the girl, was it a golfer?
From Sing or whatever, the singing movie? Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick. Yeah. I like that.
And then she actually responded after everyone.
Good for him.
That was incredible.
Good for him. And then the last one.
But yeah.
Last one. How can you have an award ceremony without the best dress? So, if we get How are we gonna do this? If we get how many likes? I'll wear a suit next time if we get enough. How about this? If we get 1,000 votes on all the poll on every single poll, minimum 1,000 votes, I think that's doable. Twitter poll, it's not the hardest thing to get traction. Get 1,000 votes on each poll. I'll wear a suit next week. I will wear a suit for the award show. So listen, if you want to see me wear a suit, and I know a lot of you do, go follow us on Twitter at Rink Rat Report and hit us with those retweets, likes, and vote on these polls. They'll be rolling out throughout the week. So
Yep. I think that's all we had.
it's all for me.
Yep. Good episode there. Let us know what
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All of this, everything.
U23 team.
We went through a lot. But
yeah, yell at us.
anyways, thanks everyone for listening.
Go, let's go.